Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 7 things you absolutely have to know about Smithville, Missouri before you move there. Hey, if this is your first time visiting our channel and you absolutely want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in Kansas City and its suburbs, go ahead, hit that button and ring that bell. That way you're notified every time one of these new videos comes out. Honestly, we get calls every week from people wanting to move to the Kansas City area, so if you're thinking about moving to Kansas City or the northwestern Missouri region, go ahead, give us a call, text, and email, whatever you're comfortable with. We want you to know that when it comes to moving to Kansas City, we've got your back. You would look pretty ridiculous if you moved to Smithville and had no idea that Smithville had a Great Lake called Smithville Lake. Smithville Lake is about 5,000 acres and 127 linear miles of shoreline. There's a lot to do there. Great crappie fishing, great catfishing. The bass fishing's making one heck of a return. There's camping, there's hiking. You're gonna find 37 miles of trails that are all paved, and then I don't know how many miles of dirt trails that are gonna wind throughout the entire park. The lake is a huge draw. Many of the people that live in the area are going to have boats in their driveway in the summer, and their weekends and their evenings are going to rely around the lake. So it's very much a lake culture, and there's just a lot to do because of it. Now, one of my all-time absolute favorite things about living in Smithville is its central location. So it's located north of the city, and on a map it kind of looks like it's out in the middle of nowhere, but trust me, it's not. If you go east, you're going to run into Kearney, 18 minutes. That's going to be I-35. West, 18 minutes, and you're at Platte City. But if you head south, you're going to run into 435. It's about 9-10 minutes. You can go all the way down to like Berry Crossing, this great new shopping mall. That's going to be about 14 minutes. You can go all the way to downtown Kansas City in as little as 25 minutes. So one of the other huge benefits is Smithville doesn't have any major highways, whereas like Platte City's got I-49 and Kearney's going to have I-35, but Smithville's just going to have 169 and 92 highway, which are just a lot smaller highways. Benefit of that is you're not going to have Walmart and Target and all these large like big box stores. You're going to have a lot more locally owned businesses and a very thriving downtown square. If you like the feel of the lake life and a small town life, but still only being 10 or 15 minutes away from major shopping, Smithville is a great place to choose. Now, when you get to downtown Smithville, you're going to notice there's going to be a stage and a large open courtyard. That's where a lot of the events happen. All summer long, Saturday nights, you're going to find Hot Summer Nights. It's a concert series. Then there's going to be festivals and car shows, Lake Fest. On the weekend in the mornings, you'll find farmers markets. Now, if you go down there any given day of the week, you're going to find a lot of restaurants as well. So like Humphreys is one that I absolutely recommend. 2 reasons. Number 1, their burgers are awesome. But number 2, if you're a history geek like me, you will love to know that Colonel Kindred opened one of the very first Chevy dealerships, Kindred Chevrolet, in that building. Cool story. I read in the newspaper there one time where Colonel Kindred was talking about when he first started selling cars to the old farmers. The old farmers would come down and they're used to driving horses. So when they want to use the brakes, they want to pull back on the reins. When they get in these cars, they do the same thing. They go to brake and they pull back on the steering wheel and bam, they run into somebody. There's a good story in there of a doctor he refused to actually sell a car to because they took the car out. He wanted to go show off this new car he was buying down at the train station and ended up crashing in front of the whole town. Very cool story, lots of great history, and again, awesome food down there. Now, Smithville is widely known as having a great school. They currently have, it's like a 2.2, but it's a top 3% high school rating in the entire state. There's lots of opportunity here to play sports. Since you've only got a 1:17 ratio from student to teacher, that means there's not that many kids, only 930 in total in the school, which means it's fairly easy to play basketball, football, and baseball and make the teams, whereas a lot of the larger schools, you really have to have been playing at a high level by the time you get to high school to even have an opportunity to play on those teams. It's not uncommon here to play multiple sports throughout the year and have a very diverse high school experience. Now, this one doesn't directly pertain to Smithville, but I think it does. Just south of Smithville, about 8 minutes, you're going to see this new development called the Facebook Meta Data Center. I don't know what they really call it, but that's what everybody's referring to it as. It's basically a huge data center, and there's going to be a lot of development around there as far as similar businesses that are going to be using that internet connection. So very few people know this in the country, but Kansas City is nicknamed the Silicon Prairie. The reason for that is Google brought Google Fiber here. We were the actual very first city in the entire nation to have Google Fiber. So even though we are a cow town, we've had the fastest internet in our city for a very long time. Meta has picked up on that, and they're bringing in a big data distribution center there. And I'm sure everybody else is going to follow suit because that connection is going to exist in that corridor of the city. You can expect a bunch of development to probably happen from there towards Kansas City and probably that location towards Smithville. There's a lot of infrastructure coming in, widening of the highways and that sort of stuff. So I expect that to be a big deal. Again, it doesn't directly affect Smithville, but it very well impacts who may live there and why they may live there. Now, one of the big benefits of living in Smithville is you get a whole lot of house for the money. It's a very affordable place to live. You can buy a house for as little as $130,000, and the last year they've sold for up to $1.3 million. Most houses are going to be right around $350,000. Now, I'm going to show you a few of my favorite neighborhoods, and these are neighborhoods located really close to lake access. So let's start first with Harborview. Harborview is going to be one of the lower price point neighborhoods that's still close to the lake, and the houses there are part of a subdivision with a great pool and just a great community. Prices there are going to start at about $190,000 and go all the way up to about $377,000. Most homes are going to be right around $260,000 to $280,000 for a 3-4 bed with a 2-car garage generally. Now, across the street from there, right next to the golf course, you're going to see Rollins Landing. Rollins Landing is going to be a step up in quality and size from Harborview, but again, with the same great lake access. These houses in Rollins Landing include houses that are up to 20 years old, up to brand new, and they're generally going to be priced in the $380,000 to about $435,000 range. It's very common that people that like to go to the lake also like to play golf, so being in either one of those locations is obviously a hot spot for a lot of our buyers. Now, another great subdivision to look at is going to be Greyhawk, or officially Greyhawk at the lake. Greyhawk's going to set just behind these two subdivisions, so it's still a very short drive to the lake. But again, another step up in quality and in size, and these are a little bit newer houses. Houses in this subdivision are going to start around $395,000 and go to $591,000. There are still open lots in the neighborhoods. There's still new construction occurring. This, again, very hot location to be close to the lake. You'll find it's not uncommon for somebody to have moved from Harborview and then upgraded to Rollins Landing, and then from Rollins Landing to Greyhawk. Well, there you have it. Smithville is an awesome choice when it comes to moving to Kansas City. If you're thinking about moving to Kansas City or the greater Kansas City area, please give us a call, reach out. We're here to make that transition from wherever you're at to wherever you're gonna be that much easier. We're here as specialists. Everybody on my team is a professional that works full time, and this is what they do every day, making that transition that much easier. So reach out, call, text, email, whatever you're comfortable with. Just know that when it comes to moving to Kansas City, we've got your back.